Hidden Treasure Moments podcast. Today is Valentine's Day, and we couldn't do this without making it about love and making it about relationship. So my name is Kara Adams, and today we are graced with the wonderful, magnificent, just handsome, sexy, all that. My husband, Troy Adams, is our co-host today.
She must want something. How we doing? Happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. But yeah, my wife, she must want something. So it's all good.
I always want something.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But we want to welcome you. We want to thank you. If you have never listened to our podcast before, Hidden Treasure Moments is really taking everyday people who have, they're your neighbor, they're your friend, they're your business owner, and really having them tell their story. It's like everyday people, we all go through so much, and that, I just really find motivation. I find strength out of hearing what everyone's doing in their everyday lives, because we just all have really interesting, just really motivating lives. And so that's what our Hidden Treasure Moments podcast is about. Today's show, we wanted to talk about and be really transparent with relationships, with love, with marriage, and really everything it takes to have a successful relationship. And I'll be the first to say that, when we first got married, I didn't know how to be married. And I remember us we went through 12 weeks of,
premarital counseling.
Yes, yeah. Premarital counseling with the church. And I remember the facilitator saying, marriage is not easy. It's like, if you compare it to a sport, it's like the NFL, or it's like
the big leagues. It's
like
going from college to the pros.
Yeah.
You just can't, you don't know till you get involved.
Yeah. So for those of you who are watching, who are thinking about getting married, we're going to tell you, really think about it. No. I know today is about love, but let's be honest. Sometimes you might love the one you with, but you got to really think, 20 years from now, am I going to want to kill him in his sleep, or am I going to still love him? So what? Nothing to you, baby, because I've only wanted to kill you in your sleep once or twice. Damn. I'll just be real. But I'd never do it.
Yeah, okay. If you read the book Hidden Treasure, you know dang well that she wanted to kill me, not just in my sleep, but kill me often. But what's, again, that's kind of crazy, because that's why, my sister, loved her to death. She was the one that told me, the only person you probably ever want to kill is your spouse.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because that's the one that, that you love. That's the one that when you were dating, everything was great. And, you put forth your best effort. You put your, smell good on. You put your nice clothes on. And then all of a sudden you get them and things change. My wife bamboozled me. She bamboozled me. So fellas, I love the dating was awesome. And I would say I wouldn't want to go back, because I don't want to go home to that empty house. But at the end of the day, they bamboozle you.
So, okay. So for everyone out there, and for women and for men, is it just me, or I was talking to Troy, and we were thinking about, okay, what are we going to talk about it to keep it interesting? And he always says, you bamboozled me. You started one way, and then 12 years later, you're different. Or the things that you said that you liked when we were dating, you actually hate, which, I wonder if more couples are like that, or if it's just,
but we all try to be different,
because you cooked a lot.
I still cook. I just don't cook a lot. But at the end of the day, we all have to be different. We were trying to be different. I love salsa dancing, and I still love it, but I have to grind and work, right? But we did different things. How I got you, she don't ever tell the story, but how I really got my wife is one of our first dates. We went salsa dancing, everything was else good. And you know how you kind of move in and get that kiss. Instead of kissing her, I licked her. And once she seen that I licked her and put that tongue on her, boom, it was over. She knew automatically. No dude had the tongue like I had the tongue. So it was over.
Oh my God. If you're listening to this, do not lick your girlfriend.
Nah, it was good.
he's like, can I have a kiss? And, I was being coy and I'm like, no. And he was like, okay. And he licked my cheek. And I was like, what the hell?
Who licks cheeks? I do. Boom, it was over. You was the only girl I ever licked like that, and it was over ever since then. And crazy enough, my son, to this date, licks his mom.
Yes, it's awful.
It's a good gene. So fellas, don't steal my move. Don't steal my move. But I'm just telling you, that was it. It was over after that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But that wasn't no bamboozle.
No.
My tongue is still good.
Oh my God. Yes,
I'm
it
just
is.
saying.
But anyway.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Your bamboozle was bamboozle.
So okay. So I remember when we first started dating, okay, so anyone who doesn't really know our story, we've been married going on 12 years in May, dating for 11 or 13.
Yeah, you have to
went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Dating for 13 and a half, 14, all together. And I forget what the heck I was going to say about that. Oh yeah. And so when, that was a long time ago. I'm a different person than I was then. But I remember all you women, I would put on a super sexy negligee or whatever. And I'd put a coat on and then I would show up to the door and I drop the coat. I did it.
Yeah,
I was doing it.
You did. That's the thing. You did.
See,
your girlfriend,
I had a 6-pack.
No. Time out. Forget all the 6-pack. I don't care if you are 110 or you are 210.
That's not that much. Keep going. A little higher.
310.
Thank
it don't make a difference. Whatever the number is. The number is the number.
Closer to that than you think.
Damn, the number is a number.
Yeah.
But if you did it then, that's what the dude like. And then all of a sudden, you say, I do. And then the lady say, well, I don't no more. Whether it be, okay, let's go camping. I'm like, oh, damn, I got a girl to go camping. I'm an outdoors dude. And then we
tell them about that. Because
it's just, all I'm saying is, I think both sides work really hard at getting the individual.
Yes.
And then we have to do the same amount of work that we did getting the individual at keeping the individual.
Yeah, that's good work.
And that's all. And that's, at the end of the day, relationships are hard work. Marriages are hard work.
Yeah.
And I love being married, but early on, I didn't know how or what it took to, or what it meant to be married.
Yeah. So to give you some story behind what he's saying. So Troy would always say babe, you bamboozled me. You'd come in these sexy outfits. You'd be like a vixen. And then, I wouldn't say it happened all at once. I'd say okay, we got married. And then in my mind, I was supposed to be a different person. Other men weren't supposed to look at me. Other men weren't supposed to flirt with me. I didn't know how to transition. And then you put that on top of, we had a child. And now my body doesn't feel the same. We were having sex one day and our son comes in the room and
he didn't come in that.
He totally came in. I mean, it was 2:00 in the morning and he had sleep in his eyes and he wasn't paying any attention.
Exactly.
But still, that all of that is a factor from who I was in being that girlfriend and having the girlfriend mentality to transitioning into who I thought.
To a mommy?
Yeah. To a mommy and a mom and my mother.
Okay.
I transitioned and I would say the transition was pretty fast. That happened in probably, 2 or 3 years. So in the beginning I was one way and then I transitioned to this other and didn't recognize that it was okay for me to still be a freak and to be sexy and to love on my husband and be affectionate. All of that stuff, You're
still learning.
I'm still working on. Right, because the affection part does not come natural.
Ooh, it did when you was dating. That's what I don't get.
Well, because when we were dating, the affection was that I had a lust. Wait, that's a list. We're not at the list.
Okay.
That I had a lust. I had a lust and that is how I was connecting and getting to know you and falling in love. Sex was a big part of all that. Mm-hmm. And so now that we've transitioned from the lust to the true love and companionship part.
Yeah.
That's how I was connecting the dots. Sex meant we loved each other and we were together and we were happy. And so now I've transitioned into the companionship, the making sure that I put your needs as a priority, the showing you love through, how I raise our son and how I take care of the family and, following my own heart and passions. Like, that's transitioned. And so that lust love isn't there as much. And I didn't recognize probably until like literally just right now.
Like today, like right this second.
Literally,
okay.
Literally right this second.
What time is it?
I'm making a very
I love it. 10:40. All right.
Yes.
10:40 a.m.
Yes.
Valentine's Day 2019.
Can I finish?
Yes, you can. You're
Thank
so
you.
Beautiful. You're so beautiful.
Okay. Thank you. But transitioning from that lust love to that like grown up, mature, like we are, it's us against the world love.
Yeah.
Like I lost the fact that I want hugs and I want kisses. And, I have to remind myself that like, that's part of love and growing into it and maturing into it. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
In all seriousness too, it's interesting to see your transition because now you seek it more, but I would try to give that so much more and you'd be like, but now you desire that. And I'm like,
yeah.
Like we switch. Like, you'd kick rocks now. Like,
you'd much rather play Candy Crush
sometimes
than to be kissing on this Candy Crush.
Well,
that was good.
Yeah. That Candy Crush has gotten said now is like a sour tart.
What?
I'm just kidding. But I mean, again, it's like all seriousness, right? So it's one of those things that ladies and men both have to realize that it goes back and forth throughout the relationships, right? And it's both understanding each other, being able to have real conversations, just like we have on the radio show.
Yeah.
When I get a chance to come in, because you can't allow me to come too many times.
No, you take over.
Yeah, but it's that give and take. It really is. And so I'd be interested too, if some of the callers or people watching to call in and what is that aha moment for them and their relationship, or especially on Valentine's Day, or were they bamboozled, male and female? Because I think in relationships, you think one thing, and then you get in and you're like, what the heck?
Yes.
And I'm not going to say it was right as we said, I do, but you women have a list. And I think we've talked about it before. Women have a list, and sometimes the list comes in front of the relationship. And they don't know it.
Yeah.
It's just like the men, we don't know it, but I think it does.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear from callers.
Yeah. And I will say that, one thing that I know that, looking back, 10 years, into the past or into the future, it was that, I did things that I thought you liked. That I wanted to please you. And so I did things that I knew you liked doing or that you would do so that, we were doing things together. Yeah. And one of those things was camping. And it's so funny. I hate camping. I'm not a camp person. I don't like being outdoors, like not at all. And so I would schedule or for his birthday, I set up like this big camping trip. And I don't know. I think we were married.
Yeah, we were early.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In the first couple of years. I don't even know if we had truly yet. But, I set it up because I knew it was something that he liked. And, I invited all his family and his friends. And it was a nice time. But like on the inside, like there was a big old spider in the tent and like the dirt on the floor and having to go to the restroom and take a shower. Like, ugh. Like none of that. That's just not me. I don't like it. But it's funny.
That's real camping.
But what's funny is it came out we were going through marital counseling, like this group marital counseling class. And they asked us to write down the things that you enjoy doing, the things that you do with your partner that either one, bring you joy, or like it was like a weird, like let's say 0, you had you didn't care one way or another. -1 meant you hated it and it took away from your love for your partner. And 5, or I think whatever, was that you enjoyed it and it brought you closer to your partner. So when we were going through and we were talking to each other about our list and our respective numbers.
That thing got me in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
But let's talk about that another time.
Yeah, we won't even go on that one.
Yeah.
But, on the list, I wrote, maybe it was like 3 to -3, but I wrote on mine that camping was a -3. And Troy was shocked. He had no idea that not only did I not like camping, but it took love away from him when we did it because I hated it so much. So it's funny that you say that, and that's one of the things we bring up.
So we have a call.
Yeah. Yes, we have a call. You know how much I like calls.
You guys are great this morning. It's nice to meet you, Mr. Adams.
Thank you. Who are we speaking with?
My name is Lisa, and I'm calling from Leimert Park.
Oh.
Yeah. I had a question, though, about when you two discovered that you were no longer dating each other's representatives. I asked that because I fell in love with a man, and it was instantaneous and beautiful, and then I got pregnant, and then he turned into somebody else, and it made me think that obviously I didn't know him long enough or well enough, but it also made me think about how when we meet somebody, we sort of show up as our representative sometimes and not who we really are. So my question for you two is, how long did it take for each of you to sort of shed your representative? And or when did you realize that you were really with the genuine Kara, the genuine Troy, and not just who they were showing up to be?
That's a great question.
12 years.
No.
I'm still, for me, I think that's a good question. And it's unfortunate that we change, things in life happen. You had a baby. We had, my wife and I had truly loved my son. But that was probably one of the hardest things that I had to deal with because, I had my best friend at that time. Mm-hmm. And then she had our son, which it was really hard for us to have him. And then everything changed. I went to the back burner. And I can tell you, unfortunately, I seeked a relationship outside of our marriage. But it changed everything. But all the way up until last night, at the end of the day, we are still continually talking, having real conversation about what our desires are and who we are evolving to every day. So for me, it literally is 12 years. And just like she said, it was, 10 minutes ago when she had that aha moment, but we continue to talk about it.
Yeah. And I would say that I didn't really start to show who I truly was until about 5 years into our marriage. And that's a really long time to hide who you are. And I don't necessarily think that I was hiding who I was because, I wanted him to see the best of me. I think it had more to do with me and that I didn't know who I was. I wasn't particularly happy with who I was. And I thought that I needed to live in this background and in this shadow in order to be truly loved by somebody. So him not seeing me was because I wasn't showing who I was. And I think that in relationships, that happens a lot. And I feel like in the beginning, I saw who Troy wanted and was aspiring to be. And then as he started to, lower his shield and as it looked like we were kind of pulling apart, I feel like I didn't really start to see him until I saw him until we went through, trying to have a child and really seeing his wants and his the things that was pushing him away from me because I was so tunnel visioned. And then it almost got to the point where he just didn't care anymore. And he was like, I'll just do what you want me to do because I want to still be married. I love you, but things aren't as good as I want them to be. So it's a really long way to say, I think people put up these barriers that sometimes have nothing to do with the other person.
Yeah.
It's completely about who they are and how comfortable they are. And then I had to be open to see who he truly was and not just who I wanted him to be. So I hope that helps answer your question, Lisa, a little bit.
Oh, it does. It really does. Thank you. I love the fact. I love the way you guys communicate. I think friendship is key to any relationship, and you two seem to be friends, and that's really cool.
Sometimes. I don't know if you
that's
caught
like a real
the.
friendship.
I don't know if you caught the early. She did say she was trying to kill me, or she wanted to kill me every so often. So just everybody's listening. If I end up
Well, but
dead,
here's the thing.
Huh?
If she was only trying to kill you in your sleep, you're ahead of the game. If she wasn't trying to kill you when you were alive, that's good news.
all right.
Thank you,
all right.
Lisa.
Touche,
Thank
Lisa.
you.
You guys have a great day.
All right, you
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you for calling in.
Okay, bye-bye. But I mean, I think it's really good word.
Yeah.
And, I think with that, we'll take a quick break. And when we come back, I think it would be good to talk about like the list, what you alluded to, and how as men and women, like we have this long grocery list of things that we want our spouses to be, the provider, all of that stuff. But we're looking for them in completely all the wrong places. Yeah. Like if you want a God-fearing man, you might find him at the club, but you might not. So when we come back, that's what we'll be talking about. See you in a minute.